Hey guys. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the very beginning of this movie right now. It's called Food, and then we're going to do some checking on some stuff, okay? So here we go. Let's press play.
The way we eat has changed more in the last 50 years than in the previous 10,000. But the image that's used to sell the food, it is still the imagery of agrarian America. You go into the supermarket and you see pictures of farmers. The picket fence and the silo and the 30s farmhouse and the green grass. It's the spinning of this pastoral fantasy. The modern American supermarket has on average 47,000 products. There are no seasons in the American supermarket. Now there are tomatoes all year round, grown halfway around the world, picked when it was green, and ripened with ethylene gas. Although it looks like a tomato, it's kind of a notional tomato. I mean, it's the idea of a tomato. In the meat aisle, there are no bones anymore.
There is this deliberate veil, this curtain that's dropped between us and where our food is coming from. The industry doesn't want you to know the truth about what you're eating, because if you knew, you might not want to eat it.
If you follow the food chain back from those shrink-wrapped packages of meat, you find a very different reality. The reality is a factory. It's not a farm, it's a factory. That meat is being processed by huge multinational corporations that have very little to do with ranches and farmers.
Now our food is coming from enormous assembly lines where the animals and the workers are being abused. And the food has become much more dangerous in ways that are being deliberately hidden from us.
You've got a small group of multinational corporations who control the entire food system, from seed to the supermarket. They're gaining control of food.
This isn't just about what we're eating. This is about what we're allowed to say, what we're allowed to know. It's not just our health that's at risk.
The companies don't want farmers talking. They don't want this story told.
All right. Pretty scary starting. Yeah, wow. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I want to do a little bit of checking on some of this stuff, like a little bit of fact checking kind of thing. So let's see what ChatGPT or Gemini says about this. I'm kind of curious. This is just the beginning of this this show. It's on what do you call it? It's on yeah, looking up that'll help you. It's on Amazon Prime. Okay, so let's go into Gemini and see what it has to say. So one of the things that popped out to me was the food's changed more in the last 50 years than the past 10,000. So let's see, has our food changed more in the last, I'm a horrible typer. Oh, I could speak this, last 50 years. More so than the last 10,000 years. If so, how? All right, let's see what let's see what Gemini has to say about this little claim that that the movie starts off with. And I'll go ahead and let it speak. Let's hope it's not too wordy. That's the only problem. I always forget to put in there, give us a quick answer. Let's see how long this is. Yeah, this could be a long one. Okay, well, let's see. How about we do this? We'll say, okay, but how about an abbreviated response? Okay, let's see what that comes up with. I don't know if you're like me, but reading and reading. Yeah, it'll take up some time because I have a few other questions I wanted to ask. All right. Here we go. So where's my ability to read it? Here we go. Listen.
Yes, the last 50 years fundamentally altered the molecular structure of food, whereas the previous 10,000 years simply altered the menu. Here is the breakdown, from whole to fractured. For 10,000 years, processing meant cooking or grinding whole ingredients. Today, we deconstruct food, stripping fiber and nutrients to create ultra-processed products. Roughly 60% of modern calories come from these fractured ingredients. Chemical novelty. We introduced substances that do not exist in nature. High fructose corn syrup, industrial seed oils, soy, canola, and artificial preservatives are chemical inputs your body has no evolutionary blueprint for handling. Nutrient collapse. Modern crops are bred for yield, size and speed, not health.
GMO.
Due to soil depletion and fast growth, a vegetable today has significantly fewer vitamins and minerals than the same vegetable did in 1950.
Oof.
The bottom line, 10,000 years gave us time to adapt to farming. 50 years is too fast for our genetics to adapt to industrial.
Okay, there we go. So, yikes, that is scary. Some of this stuff I've come across in my reading. By the way, if you haven't read Ultra Processed People by Chris Van Tulleken, get that book. All right, how about this one? Do food manufacturers, how do I do let me see if I could figure out how to do oh, here it is right here. Do food manufacturers use ethylene gas on tomatoes? Question mark. Let's see what it says. I forgot to do the limit your response. Don't give me a book to read. Gemini 3. I think I'm on Gemini 3 right now. By the way, if you're not familiar with AI, you better get familiar. It's coming. It's coming for everybody. It's going to be like a tidal wave. It'll be like the internet, right? Back when the web started going, people were like, that whole internet thing, not a big deal. It turned out to be a big deal. Okay. So let's go to the bottom and let's listen in. Oh, didn't go. Try again. Here we go.
Yes, food manufacturers, specifically fresh produce distributors, frequently use ethylene gas on tomatoes, but it depends entirely on whether you are buying them fresh or canned. 1. The supermarket tomato produce section. Yes, these are often gassed. The process. To survive long truck rides without bruising, these tomatoes are picked while they are still hard and green, called mature green. The treatment. Once they reach a warehouse near you, they are placed in a sealed room and exposed to ethylene gas. The result. The gas forces the tomato to turn red, but because it was removed from the plant too early, it never develops its full sugar or flavor profile.
Whoa.
This creates the classic supermarket tomato, perfectly red on the outside, but mealy and tasteless on the inside.
Okay.
2. The canning tomato, sauce, paste, canned. No, these are rarely gassed. The process. Tomatoes destined for ketchup, pasta sauce, or cans are left on the vine until they are fully red and ripe.
So buy
the harvest.
Buy canned tomatoes. Buy canned stewed tomatoes. Buy in the can sounds a lot better than what you think is fresh. Okay.
They are harvested by machines and processed immediately, often within hours. Since they don't need to look pretty on a shelf or remain firm for weeks, they don't need the pick green, gas later strategy.
Okay, he said, I say he like AI is a he. Gemini said, they don't need to look pretty. Now that's a huge thing because a lot of our food is has to look pretty in the store. The apples have to be waxed. Now, when I went up to Washington, we stopped at a organic food shack that was selling all organic fruits and vegetables. And my youngest son said, this stuff's a lot smaller than I see in the store, and it doesn't quite look as perfect. Nah, that's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you want. At least that's what I want. All right, let's see what else.
Result. This is why a $2 can of tomatoes often tastes better than a $2 fresh tomato. Is it dangerous? No. Ethylene is a natural plant hormone.
Okay.
All fruits release it naturally to trigger their own ripening. This is why a ripe banana in a paper bag will ripen an avocado. The banana is releasing ethylene.
Okay, so I was ready to jump on this ethylene gas as like, oh, it's a gas, but it sounds like it's natural, which I'm glad that Gemini mentioned that. So that's definitely going to help ripen it. So what they're using is ripening it, but that doesn't take away from what Gemini said earlier about lack of nutrients.
Real issue. The problem isn't safety, it's quality. You are effectively eating a zombie tomato that looks alive, red, but is biologically dead, lacks the nutrients and flavor of a vine-ripened fruit.
You're eating a zombie tomato, wow, that looks alive, but is biologically dead.
Next step for you.
Okay.
If you want to avoid gas-ripened tomatoes, look for vine-ripened.
Okay, that makes sense. Look for vine-ripened. Okay, so if you're able to get vine-ripened tomatoes, if you have that option, definitely go there. But it sounds like canned tomatoes are the way to go. Okay, now I also want to know about, oh, here, I can speak it. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, how many major food companies are controlling the food in the United States? Question mark. All right, let's see what this one comes back with. Make sure I got everything. It's thinking. It's thinking. All right. Here we go. Okay, so in the video, I could have swore the very beginning of the movie it said 4, but it is saying it's generally accepted that 10 massive corporations control the majority of the food supply in the United States and much of the world. Okay. And it looks like they're calling it the Big 10. Let's see or listen to what Gemini has to say. Come on. It's going to do it. It's going to do it. Nope, I got to do it again. Okay, here we go. I'll follow along.
It is generally accepted that 10 massive corporations control the majority of the food supply in the United States and much of the world. This phenomenon is often called the illusion of choice. You may see thousands of different boxes and bags in the grocery store, but they all funnel money back to the same few boardrooms. The Big 10. These 10 companies control roughly 80 to 90% of the center aisles of the grocery store. Nestlé, the largest food company in the world.
Nestlé.
PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Unilever, Danone, General Mills, Kellogg's, Mars, Associated British Foods, Mondelez, formerly Kraft Snacks. Why it matters, the illusion of choice. These companies do not just sell one type of food. They own hundreds of brands that often compete with each other to dominate shelf space. Example, you might choose Kashi cereal because it looks like a small, health-conscious brand, but it is owned by Kellogg's. Example, you might buy Annie's homegrown to avoid big brand processed food, but it is owned by General Mills.
Oh.
Example, you might buy Honest Tea for a cleaner drink, but it is owned by Coca-Cola.
Okay, we got to talk about this. Hello. Okay, so when I was going through the list, I'm like, okay, Nestle, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Unilever, I don't know, Danone, General Mills, Kellogg's, Mars. And I'm going, I don't eat any of this stuff. Now, call me a food snob, whatever. Of course I used to. But Nestle, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, General Mills, Kellogg's. I don't do a lot of cereals anymore. Mars, I don't do candy. Okay, so I'm sure you may have recognized some of your stuff here. But here's the interesting thing right here. When Gemini says You might choose Kashi cereal because it looks like a health conscious brand, but it's owned by Kellogg's. You might choose Annie's, but it's owned by General Mills. And you might buy Honest Tea for a cleaner drink, but it's owned by Coke. This is what's going on. These major food manufacturers they're branding some of their products to make it look like they're healthy, but really they're not. Well, just like it says, the illusion of choice.
The sector monopolies. Outside of packaged snacks, specific sectors are even more consolidated. Meat. Just 4 companies, Tyson, JBS, Cargill, and National Beef, control over 80% of the beef market in the U.S. Soda. 3 companies, Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Snapple, control over 90% of the soda market. Next step for you, to break free from this system, the most effective strategy is to shop the perimeter of the store, produce, bulk meats, or buy from local farmers.
Better advice.
Would you like a list of 5 subsidiary brands, like Kashi?
Okay, I'm not going to do the brands. I want to talk about the meat. I'm going to ask Gemini about the meat, and then I'm going to ask Gemini about the drinks. Okay, so first question is, let's do it like this. Hey, Gemini, first question I have for you is about the meat owned by the 4 major companies that control over 80% of the beef. How is the nutrient value of our beef compared to the 1950s? Similar to the tomato statistic that you talked about. And then on the 3 soda companies, what other types of drinks do they offer? And do they have some health conscious drinks? Question mark. All right, let's see what Gemini says about this stuff. All right. And then we're gonna wrap up. But I'm really curious about this movie Food on Amazon Prime. So if you're interested, look up, if you have Amazon Prime, look up this movie Food. I was actually really intrigued just within the introduction before it even started. And I was going to talk about chicken as well because I saw a preview and they did talk about some of the chickens and Chicken Ranchers, and I think they were going to talk about Tyson Foods. That sounds like a very interesting part. Okay, we got quite a bit of information here. Let's see what. Oops, wrong one. We want listen mode, and it doesn't always do it on the first time. It takes 2 times. That's it.
Here is the breakdown on how the nutrient profile of beef has changed and the healthy drink portfolios of the major soda companies.
All right.
1. Beef. 1950s versus today. Just like the tomato, the beef you eat today is biologically different from the beef of the 1950s.
Really?
The primary driver is speed. The shift. 1950s. Cattle lived for 4 to 5 years eating mostly grass. They moved around, developing dense muscle and rich mineral stores. Today, cattle are harvested at 14 to 16 months. They are confined in feedlots and bulked up rapidly on corn, soy, and drugs to reach slaughter weight as fast as possible. The nutrient collapse.
Okay, hold on. So if you're not noticing this, 4 to 5 years was back in the 50s. They eat mostly grass, which is what they're supposed to do in nature, right? And now it's 14 to 16 months and they're fed corn, soy, and drugs. I'm sorry, that's not good. Now, I did read somewhere that soy is the food that's grown the most for animals. So, and here it's talking about that. Let's see what it says about nutrients.
Iron and minerals. A comparison of government data from 1940 to 2002 shows that the iron content in an average cut of beef has dropped by roughly 54%.
Half?
Magnesium levels have also fallen. You would need to eat 2 steaks today to get the iron content of 1 steak from your grandfather's era.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So you got to eat 2 steaks. So when you go get a steak, you're going to have to eat 2 now. I'm actually plant-based, so I don't eat a lot of meat, and I'm actually glad because I'm not getting the nutrients anyway. I will eat meat when I can verify that it's somewhat clean, pasture-raised, organic. Definitely not corn and soy fed, although sadly, there's probably a lot of years I did eat that because I didn't know. Right? We're learning. We're learning together. All right.
Fat profile, the invisible danger. The biggest change is in the type of fat. Omega-3s, anti-inflammatory, grass-fed cows, 1950s style, have high omega-3 levels. Omega-6s, pro-inflammatory, grain-fed cows, today, have extremely high omega-6 levels because of the corn and soy diet. This skews your body's inflammation markers, contributing to the very diseases, heart disease, cancer, the McDougall diet aims to prevent.
Okay, so the McDougall diet is a plant-based, high-starch diet, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. It's challenging with some aspects. Although my food choices have widened, I'm actually hungry more. However, on this diet, you can actually eat as much as you want. No fat, no oil, no butter. Anyway, all right, let's go. Let's move on to the healthy drinks.
2. The healthy drinks owned by Big Soda. You asked if the big three, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Keurig Dr. Pepper, offer health-conscious drinks. Yes, they do, but they often hide their ownership. They know consumers are turning away from soda, so they have bought up the water, tea, and wellness brands you likely trust.
Interesting.
Coca.
Okay, so Coke, Pepsi, they're owning a lot of the. I kind of knew this. This is why I wanted to ask this. They're owning the water, tea, and wellness brands. See, they don't want you to only think of them as Coke. They're putting healthy drinks, supposedly healthy drinks.
Coca-Cola, water, Smart Water, Dasani, Topo Chico, sparkling mineral water.
Dasani.
Sports, recovery, Body Armor, marketed as the healthier Gatorade, Powerade, vitamin water, often loaded with sugar despite the name. Dairy, protein, Farlife, high protein ultra filtered milk.
Fairlife.
Tea. Gold Peak, Peace Tea. Note, they famously bought Honest Tea but discontinued it in 2022 to focus on their other brands.
Wow,
PepsiCo,
didn't know that.
Gut Health, Kombucha, K-Vita. They own this popular probiotic drink found in health food stores. Water, bubbly, sparkling water, Aquafina.
Wow.
Plant-based protein, Evolve. Plant-based protein shakes, Muscle Milk.
I don't
They
know.
acquired the parent company,
I know Muscle Milk.
Cytosport. Sports, Gatorade, Propel. Keurig Dr. Pepper,
Not a fan of
KDP,
those.
antioxidant, drinks, Bai,
Oh, Bai. I
marketed
know
as an
Bai.
antioxidant
It's got a
infusion.
lot of sugar in it.
Water, Core Hydration,
They all
the
have
bottles
water.
with the big blue caps, Evian, distribution deal. Tea, Juice, Snapple, Mott's.
Snapple.
The Trap. Many of these health drinks, like vitamin water or Bai,
Here you go.
often still rely on artificial sweeteners,
Yep.
erythritol, sucralose, or hidden sugars to taste good.
Not good for you.
Next step for you, since you are interested in the high-starch, low-fat approach, are you looking for a clean, store-bought beverage that fits that diet, no oil, no additives, or are you sticking strictly to water and tea?
Okay, so this is something interesting. It's a little side note for anybody using AI. The new thing that I've been noticing on the AI platforms is at the bottom, when they're done, they'll say, next step, do you want us to do this? Do you want me to do this for you? They all kind of do that now, I'm noticing. And I have a sneaky suspicion that's to keep us on the platform. It's to keep you from going, all right, I got my answer. I'm going to go do something else. I don't know. This is my theory. But anyway, all right. So there you go. This is just a little opening of this food movie. So I'm going to be finishing up the food movie, and I'm going to try to do the same thing. I'm going to figure out which points are good, and we'll do some questioning on it. So, all right, guys, that was a good one. There's more coming.